Hi there, this is May Catlea. This channel is all about exploring awesome places and the things to do here around in Leyte and southern Leyte. Some months ago, I made a video about the beach property that we purchased, and recently we just bought a farmland. So it's an agricultural land. So guys, in today's video, I am going to share with you the most important tips before buying or owning property here in the Philippines. And also, I'm going to share with you our mistakes, our big mistakes that we experience or encounter when me and my husband purchased a property. Alright, if you are an OFW or maybe a Filipino married to a foreigner and planning to move here in the Philippines for good, or maybe you want to invest some properties here in the Philippines then and has no idea where to start. So stay tuned guys, because maybe this video might help you.
This?
Okay. Alright guys, here are the most important tips before buying or owning property here in the Philippines. Number 1, verify ownership. You should verify who's the rightful property owner. In our case, when we bought this beach property, he's not the owner of the land. I mean, he is the heir of the land. And when I asked the documents, the owner, the real owner of the land is dead some years ago. So maybe 50 years ago or 40 years ago, and that's long time ago. And then the owner has three children, and all of these children are also no longer alive. And then these three children has children too. So the owner has grandchildren. So the owner has already grandchildren, and these grandchildren decided to sell the land. So in this case, the eldest of these grandchildren is handling all the documents, and he got a special power of attorney. This is very important. You need to know if he has the right to sell the land. So in this case, they all agreed. He got a special power of attorney, so it was okay. The next thing you have to see to it is, if for example, the seller of the land is not the owner, he or she is an agent. You know, some landowner doesn't like to negotiate with buyer, so they hire an agent or a broker who's stealing or selling their land. So this agent or broker must have also a special power of attorney, or in short term this is called SPA. So the second tip is secure a certified true copy of the land title. So it is important to know if this land has a title, and if it is possible, try to ask the original copy of this title. It is important guys, don't forget that. You need to see that the owner of this land or the seller has the original title. So here's the mistake I made, guys. I was able to secure a certified true copy of the title from the Register of Deed, and that is the document I also gave to my lawyer. He is not just aware that there's a new law that when you transfer the new name of the title, you need to submit also the original title itself from the owner or from the previous owner. And so before you buy guys, you have to please don't forget to secure also the original title of the land. The original. This is very important because in the end of the procedure, they are going to ask you from the registry of deeds office. They're going to ask you the original copy of it. Okay, so if you don't have it, like us, the seller lost it, or the administrator from the previous owner, their grandfather, lost it. So now we couldn't find it, and what my lawyer did now is he made a reimbursement. It will gonna cost you a lot, so another expenses to get this title from the previous owner. You need to pay like I think 30,000, and then by transferring it to your name is about same. As soon as you got the certified true copy or the original title of the land, of course you need to check the description of the title. What's described in the title should match on the actual land being sold. From our experience, guys, this is not bad. This is not bad for our side, but it could happen that it will be that bad. For example, someone offered you cheap agricultural land. You should be careful because you'll never know this farmer got this land from the government, you know, as tenant. So they call this a CLOA land. So they are the tenants, the farmers that are given by the government this land, and they also receive titled land. But on the description you have to check on it, because if it's a CLOA land, then you will have a problem. CLOA land, I think I have to discuss this late in my next video, but I just have to tell you right now that you have to check the description of the title. What's described on the title should match on the actual land being sold. So in my case, this is what happened, guys. We already bought the land, and then on our title and tax declaration, the size of our land is only like 570 square meter. And then during the time that we already hired a surveyor, we found out that the land is 1050 square meter. So this is a win-win for us. But if it so happened that the land is smaller, then it's not good. So it is also important, guys, if you got all these, if you already have all these documents, if the land is clean, then that's the time you need to hire a surveyor to make sure that the description of the land, of the description in your title should match on your land size. So The next thing you should also check from the title's description is that there should be no mortgage, that it's clean. You'll never know, maybe this title has been mortgaged and still not paid, or unpaid, or maybe still not cancelled if there are any annotation on it. So it must be a clean title. Don't forget that, guys. The third step is to secure or ask for the tax declaration, just to make sure that the land is tax updated, meaning to say that the owner paid tax annually or yearly, because unpaid tax can be costly. Then it will be another cost for you. Now guys, you already have a clean title, the tax declaration, and everything's clean, no problem, no annotations. Now proceed to tip number 4, which is visit a surveyor. Now you have to ask about the technical description from the title and the tax declaration. Now you need to do a survey. So in my part, we agreed with the seller that we're going to pay 50-50, so half. Mostly sellers, they don't pay for it, but you make a deal with it. It's not fair on your side. You are going to shoulder everything, so just be smart. Now after validating the title is clean, tax declaration, land is tax updated, no annotations, all is clean, you're done with survey. Now you both proceed to my tip number 5, which is tip number 5: secure notarized and signed deed of sale. So you both, seller and the buyer, should visit a lawyer and to make the transaction at the lawyer. The seller should bring all the complete documents, and then you should ask the lawyer to make an agreement on your deed of sale. Now you have to make an agreement who's gonna shoulder all the taxes or the expenses. Now let's talk about the capital gain tax. One of you should pay or shoulder the capital gain tax. So if the seller refused to pay the capital gain tax because she gave you the good price, or she make a good discount, then you have to ask her, maybe you could pay both, like 50%. In my case, I refuse to pay the capital gain tax because I have read that capital gain tax, this is the obligation from the seller itself. She's the one who make a sale, so she's the one who gain. That means she or he has the obligation to pay tax from the sold land. So put that on your mind. You should not pay for this. It's the seller's obligation. So some seller also give really a good price, a good deal. Then maybe it's only a few sum of money, and then you can pay for it yourself as buyer. It's okay, it's up to you. You made an agreement on your deed of sale who's going to pay. And actual sale, this is how they calculate the capital gain tax, guys. the capital gain tax is equivalent to 6% of the actual sale price. The land is sold for 3 million pesos, and you have to multiply by 6%. So the buyer or the seller, that it's supposed to be, so the seller should pay the capital gain tax of 180,000 peso. And also there is still important to pay after the transaction by the lawyer. This is called the documentary stamp. This is very important. You don't have to delay this, and also the capital gain tax. You really have to make sure when are you going to pay for it, or the due date, because if you are delayed, you're gonna pay another cost. There is another penalty for that. So make sure to pay it on time. I think you should not exceed to 30 days upon the transaction. The transfer tax is equivalent to 5% of the actual price of the sale price. And also, you both should agree, because there is a attorney's expense or lawyer's expense you have to pay. Mostly here in the province, some lawyers ask 3% from the total price of the land, or 1 to 2%. In my experience, from the beach lot, we paid the lawyer 3%, but we agreed, me and the seller, to pay half. And also from my farmland, from my agricultural land, we paid 2% from the sale price, and we also paid half. So that's it, guys. That's the most important tips that I shared with you. What else? Yeah, if possible, don't pay full. Okay, smart buyers should not pay full. Why? Just pay like 75% or 70%, because once you paid full, if just in case there are documents you need from the seller, they will no longer cooperate. They are fully paid. So what's for? You have to beg for them. You always have to beg for them from them. So always not paying full when you purchase land. This is also another bad experience from us. We bought it always cash, and later on we got some problems. For example, from our beach lot. So from our beach property, we had a big mistake because we purchased it cash. So and then we found out that the BIR needs or asked a lot of documents, since the owner of the land is no longer alive since like 50 years. And then in my case, it's from his grandfather. There are a lot of documents the BIR asks: birth certificate, death certificate, marriage certificate, family tree, and witness. That's why it took us a lot of time and money with this mistake. So next time, guys, so this is for you guys. When you purchase land, make sure that the owner is still alive, and So there are no other documents needed if the owner is alive, and this is the actual owner. Alright guys, those are the most important tips that I could share with you, and perhaps I'm going to make more videos about moving here in the Philippines for good, about building houses, because we're going to build another house, a farmhouse. And I'm going to share with you also about the farm that we bought recently. So guys, stay tuned, and I hope to see you guys on my next video. And thank you for watching. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.